Oh, you've been standing too long for the same person. You should move now. Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, good. Some people from Benin in the house. If I don't hear you, that means you are joining us virtually. Are there some people from Botswana? Are there some people? I'm sure you are waiting for your country, I know. So you shout and call my name. Call my. Are there some people from Kenya? I love it. The energy is there. Are there some people from Lesotho? Are there some people from Zambia? Don't worry. You just waving. How can I hear you? Are there some people from Zambia? Are there some people from South Africa? You sitting together? Mm. Are there some people from Nigeria? Are there some people from Rwanda? Are there some people from Ghana? The loudest so far. The loudest so far. Which country haven't I mentioned?
You can repeat Rwanda, no problem.
Are there some people from Tanzania? Upon all the shout I gave you, that's all you could do. Are there some people from Malawi? That's right. One man standing. Which other country? Now, if you don't mention your country, we're leaving you behind. What? All right, thank you so much. So, on that note, I say to you again, Karibu, or welcome again to the second and the final day of this summit. I think a round of applause will do for us for making it to the second day and the final day of this maiden edition. Now, because we did the first day, we're ending it up on a high note today. And to help us do a recap of whatever happened or took place yesterday, we have in our midst this morning a global recruitment consultant and an HR specialist. This person is the first Ugandan and one of the first females to represent HR on the board of the Africa HR Confederation. Now, this person is committed to breaking barriers related to diversity and inclusion through taglines. This person has a tagline which says, "Leave no one behind." This person also is a board public relations officer of the African Human Resource Confederation. This person has a leadership range across the regional levels and also strengthen HR advocacy. This person's expertise and strategic vision has made this person a sought-after speaker on topics including career advancement, leadership, mentorship, and talent acquisition. This person is a visionary leader with strategic acumen. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not busy, help me welcome this person to give up a recap of all that happened yesterday. Kindly help me welcome Shamim Walusimbi to give us that remarks from yesterday's event. Is that all you can do? Keep clapping so she mounts the stage.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. That was an amazing introduction. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, all protocol observed. I stand here before you as one of the change makers that you are today. It's an honor to be here to recap the inspiring and impactful first day of the African HR Summit that we have been waiting for so long. Here we are in Kigali, Rwanda. Maybe one thing that I'll need to mention as well, as I reflect on my journey, I've traveled across different countries across Africa over the last few months, benchmarking from various conferences, different summits. I was pleased to have met Mr. Mojid and the entire CIPM team in Nigeria. I traveled to Ghana, to Nairobi as well. And all this was to see how can we make this event successful. And right now, I can attest that has been the best summit ever, and we deserve a round of applause. So as I stand here on behalf of the board as a public relations officer, I'm reminded of the power of our collective vision, and we all know what that is. I request that we say it together one more time. One Africa, one HR. One more time. One Africa, one HR. So that's the vision that we want to see based on this interaction we're having. And it embodies our shared commitment to driving transformation, fostering collaboration, and promoting excellence in HR practice across the continent. So a little bit of a recap from yesterday's day one of the Africa HR Summit. We set the tone for this transformative event. We featured remarkable opening addresses from our leaders. We had our chairman, Stephen Karangwa, our president, Raj, AU representative, Nisem, as well as the representatives from the government. So all these sessions underscored the pivotal role of HR in realizing Africa's Agenda 2063, and it reminded us as HR professionals that we are not just managing people, we are the architects of Africa's future. So following the opening remarks, we delved into the profound connection between sustainable development goals and the new HR strategies required to drive the agenda. This wonderful presentation by Nisem emphasized the need for HR strategies to foster inclusion, innovation, and sustainability. So what we're doing is paving the way for a more prosperous and integrated Africa. One of the standout sessions from yesterday was by Rachel Dumba from Uganda. She powerfully articulated the new competencies needed by the CEOs and HR leaders such as yourselves. She mentioned that in this rapidly evolving landscape, we need to emphasize that HR leaders have to embrace our authentic leadership, our strategic workforce planning, and data-driven decision-making. We also saw how we can integrate technology into our work. Irembo's presentation by Lilios showcased the transformative power of technology. So it opened up our minds to demonstrate how digitization has revolutionized since delivery in Rwanda. I think we're all amazed. Everywhere we look, we see something different, we see something unique. And Rwanda, you deserve a round of applause for showing us this. So these insights reminded us that HR must also lead in adopting e-solutions to drive efficiency and transparency in the workplace. So this is something that we have all taken home. So as we go into the recap of the afternoon, it was equally enriching. We had discussions led by thought leaders such as Dr. George, Peter Cheese, and these sessions dived into the future of HR. Remember, we are looking at Agenda 2063, and it is scary. We all wonder, will we be there to see this agenda? Will we be there to see the efforts that we're putting in today? I stand here before you to encourage you that your efforts are not going to be in vain. So when we spoke about the future of HR and leadership, we all understood that we are living in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. They call it VUCA. So it's very important to prepare organizations for this culture change, this shock that we are not able to avoid. We need to build resilient and agile workforces. The panel discussion on technology, HR, and sustainable growth in Africa was also very insightful. This panel brought together diverse perspectives. We got to understand the intersection of AI, HR practices, and green economies, offering actionable insights on how HR can lead these spaces. I know most of our workforce are afraid A few weeks ago, I took a video, I posted it on my LinkedIn, and it was showing a robot. There's a robot cafe in Nairobi, and I posted that video and said, don't worry, AI is not going to take your job. Because as that robot waitress was bringing the food to my family, there was someone controlling it. There was someone who was giving the input. So what do we have to do to build our capacity? That's what we're learning here. So throughout the day, a common theme emerged. It's the urgency for us as HR professionals to lead with purpose and innovation. I personally am very big on purpose. I am looking to change mindset through all different countries, and transform behavior through our actions. So when we talk about creating climate-aware workforces, and as well as all the sponsors that made this summit possible, this is day 2. We want to give you all an opportunity to share what you remember, enabling us to carry the momentum.
Should now become more of an adaptation because one size doesn't fit all anymore. So these are a few points that I took away from yesterday's discussion. Thank you.
All right, a round of applause. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Kolaja. I'm from Nigeria also. My takeaway yesterday is from Peter Chi's, some of the things they were bringing to us. And I took away that it's no longer the era of best practices. There's now best fit practices. So as wonderful things, knowledge you will take away from here, please put it up in the context of your organization, your location, your demographics, and all of that, so that we can get to that very good place that HR wants to be. Thank you.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. So for gender balance, let's have 2 more ladies.
Good morning. My name is Theodora. I'm working with British High Commission in Rwanda. My takeaway yesterday was, first and foremost, I liked the connection we had as HR professionals. This is something that is even far higher than sitting in the rooms and listening to the lecturers or presenters. The second thing that attracted me or worried me is the unemployment rate, and mostly for the young ones, for the youth, which I kept thinking about myself, and I was like, what could probably our pension entities could do to try and probably do something that can interest, would I say, people to love or to be interested to go for early pension so that we can leave the space for the young ones. That was my takeaway, and I was like, should we take time and discuss about this? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have time for one
Good
more.
morning. My name is Shamim Kavuma Nyiramashirinji, the other Shamim from Uganda. Key takeaways for me. 1, I want to refer to Rachel's presentation. It was quite interesting. And having been an HR for some time, the only thing I was missing as she was presenting is connecting the dots on how I connect people. And then the other is the fact that I'm no longer afraid of the math. So now when I was having a conversation, key takeaway, which was very impactful immediately for me yesterday, is that I was looking at budget. So I was speaking to my CFO yesterday, and he was wondering what happened. I was not just speaking numbers. I was speaking impact. He was like, let's put the video on. Let me see where you are. I'm like, Mukulu, where I am, it's impact, not just numbers. So that was a key takeaway for me. And I think also the other thing that I also really hope hit home for many of us in the room is the fact that as human resource people, we must continue to elevate ourselves. And I think this stood out for me with the presentation from the president of CIPD Nigeria. The fact, if we do not continue to elevate ourselves, this is what I have seen. I'm a trainer, but this is what I have seen, and usually I train older people who look at me like a young one. Older people, in my local language, we say, you do not want to elevate yourselves. And because you don't want to do that, you keep keeping the young ones behind. That's why they are a threat. Because for them, they have been intentional. So I really hope that also hit home for all of us, that we must elevate ourselves. It's the only way we can thrive in this space. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for all of you. So as I conclude, together, we can ensure that HR remains at the forefront of Africa's journey towards sustainable development and shared prosperity. Thank you very much, and I look forward to continuing that journey with you, even till the next Africa HR Summit. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Shamim. Right, thank you so much. I think I left. Do you have some people from Ivory Coast here? Okay. Oh, wow. Let's appreciate our team from Ivory Coast. Thank you so much. When we talk of attracting and retaining brilliant minds in our organizations, sometimes it becomes a tricky issue. And with leaders in the HR here, I know you understand this better than any other people will do. We're privileged to have in our midst this morning one fine person who has over 25 years experience in business strategy and human resources solution. So whichever dimension you want to pass in relation to investing in human capital, you will not miss this name. And if you are from the eastern part of Africa and you've not come across this name, then I'm not sure you are aware of what is actually happening around you. Next person I want to introduce to you, who is going to take us through a presentation on the topic, investing in human capital, is no other person than the Chief Executive and leader of Business Partners Consultant. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome all the way from Kenya, Dr. Lawrence Ndubi, to give us the next presentation. This is not a clap you want to give to him. Show him some love.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I need the mover. Am I able to move around? Okay. Right. Good morning. I rarely work with jackets, but because I respect you, I had to wear my suit and also my tie. That is just to show how much respect I have for Africa. And the tie will stay on because of the respect I have for you. But after that, the tie will also go because I'm not used to it too much. Now, yesterday as I was sitting at the back, you know, I felt dwarfed as a man. So I want to start by saying, hey, man, men in the room, how are you? How are you, man? Yesterday, everybody coming out here was women, women, women. And you know, guys, us as men, if we are not careful, we're going off.
Dr. Lawrence, you've taken off your suit already.
Absolutely.
All right.
I've taken off the, yeah? So I'll move around just like my other colleagues yesterday. Now, so really I want to appreciate men. And for the ladies, you know you are the one who gives birth to us. So it's obvious. So thank you too. Now, the second thing as I start this conversation, I'm really privileged to be here. And the chairman is not. We ended up settling that Kenya was the heart and Nigeria is the heartbeat. We ended up settling that Kenya was the heart and Nigeria is the heartbeat. So when you start talking about Africa, it's very exciting. You know, the best fish from Malawi, the pepe, the whatever from Nigeria, the land of gold from Ghana. Mention it. So we are very excited. I had an opportunity to work for Unilever, and I was the vice president for Africa and Middle East. So I was fortunate to go to each and every country. So I know Africa. Now this topic, while the slides are there, with 33 years of experience in business, what do you expect? You don't expect me to just follow the slides. I think it's more of my experience around this. Follow the slides. I think it's more of my experience around this subject. Just talking standards. Now, looking at this subject, let me just get my direction. This is on. It's not moving. And yet it's on. Can I get some help? It's not moving. Oh, now it has moved. It's taking very long. Or where I need to point somewhere. Okay. Okay, guys. I just want to summarize this subject of attracting and retaining talent. And I'm not going to talk about just bodies of people. I'm going to talk about skills, I'm going to talk about competencies, and I'm going to talk about experience and knowledge, if you like. Now, the focus for any organization, and when we talk Africa, for me, I'm going to summarize our need. I'm going to summarize it in one chart, which was about even the HR transformation. And by the way, going back to the aspirations for Africa, Madam Representative of the Africa region, there's an aspiration number 6, which again is actually talking about people-driven, and we are talking about women, youth, and what? Children. Please include men. I was forgetting to say that point before, I can move on. Now, so when I look at this area, any business is there to grow. Any business is created to make sure that it is growing in its impact. So anybody who comes into a business, I am of the firm belief that this person must be able to have what I normally call analytical skills. This is what creates a growth vision. This person must be able to drive that growth. This is what I call business motivation. This person must be able to build commitment to that growth, hence the people skills. There's no business or there's no organization that does not think about tomorrow, that does not have that purpose. So, let me just find out any HR person who is here and they have no purpose for HR as a function. I'll be very surprised if I see the hands up. My summary is why we exist and what Africa must do as far as human capital is concerned. You guys know that HR, we have shifted from, I just want to move this quickly because I'm going to have limited time. HR has moved from a pyramid to a diamond. And what do I mean by that? I simply mean that we have reorganized human resources to make sure that we are focusing on adding value. The space where we are, we must add value. And what is this value? It's about organization performance. It's about individual performance. Hence, this transformation. Now, if you look at the pyramid side, we were full of transactions and administration. Performance was little in the middle there. Strategy was little there. Now we have pushed our HR transformation, and I'm glad I was part of the global team. We were 7 from Africa who really took time to make sure that we evolve HR in the right way that it should be. So if you look at this, it is about performance management. Can you see how performance management block comes out? A 40% from a 25% before. Strategy moves from a 5 to 20. Transactions and admin, this collapses from a total of nearly 70 to just a 40. We're saying every area is important, but where is our focus? Performance. And guys, you talk everything about HR in your organization. You are there to ensure performance takes place. That is the focus. Whatever else you do around strategy, whatever else you do around transactions and admin, it's about achieving the organization objectives. So Africa, don't say too many stories. It is about our productivity in Africa. If it's about productivity in Africa, then what are the initiatives we need to be taking to ensure that our skills, our competencies, everything else is up there? I mean, I've traveled around the world, and sometimes I go to a Chinese factory, and I'm just shocked, even at the way, the dexterity, the way, the human skill is moving things around. And in Africa, you find it's taking 5 minutes to move an item. This is about productivity. So let's not kid ourselves. This is the essence of human capital management. Let me just show you a brief clip and tell me when Africa will ever come to that stage. Let's have the first clip, please. The first clip. Story is done. Whom are you clapping for? Where is Africa? And even if you are to stretch those years, where is Africa? And you guys, we will tell good stories, we'll pat ourselves on the back, we'll entertain mediocre performance around us. Hey, look at where the world is. Then, you guys from South Africa will come and say, wow, we have the gold, we have the minerals, we have everything. Kigali will, Rwanda will say whatever they have. Kenyans will say what they have and so forth. But where are we in the world? That, what you have just seen there, they are dynamics of performance management. so that you can increase your value. So, for me, that is the focus. When it comes to now making sure that you have the right talent around you, you know that at the end of the day, yes, there's a process we all know. Okay? And if you just look through this grid, you can see leadership development becomes a very, I want to start there. Getting into performance management, because at the end of the day, that's what I've just emphasized. Getting into the whole area of talent management. You must then have the right people you're bringing into your organization. And then make sure they are engaged, make sure that everything else is working, including succession planning. You know the advantages when it comes to how your organization should be placed, including even just that attrition rates that sometimes are very costly in your organization. I want to focus a little bit here. Guys, while you are employers here, you are also while you are employers, you're also employees. And what do employees talk to us about, and what do employers talk to us about? This is research which is about 3 years old. But I keep checking on it, it's still valid. Why do employees want to join your organization? Surprise, surprise, and especially again with the new generation coming in, nature of work. How are you presenting the nature of work to you? Then salary comes in, job security, employer reputation, and so forth. But the employers, what do we think? We think it's career development. We think it's salary. Yeah? Nature of work is number 5. Is that speaking to you? Then, when people leave your organization, employees, they leave your organization because of stress levels. That is the number 1 thing. Followed by salary and other things. Employers always think that people leave the organization because of what? Salary. Now, we are dealing with the dynamics of, human capital that wants the nature of work to be speaking. They don't want stress levels, too high stress levels. Now, if it means that this is what we should be doing, then when we are attracting capital, we must make sure that our employer branding is right, offering technology that is required, diversity and inclusion. When it comes to the remuneration and benefits package must be right. So the do's when it comes to you getting in talent, for me, make sure your organization speaks about its offering, the brand loyalty. The employees you have inside, they speak. Word of mouth is important. How they feel, how they are seen, the inside out. And for heaven's sake, you can't do everything. You guys in the current generation, there are so many human resource consultants and partners that you can partner with to do a good job. Now, we fail again a lot of times in induction and orientation. People leave just because there was a poor induction. There was a poor orientation. Coaching and mentorship, we touched on it yesterday. Very, very important as a promise when it comes to people coming in. But guys, while we are now in the space of the traditional attraction, hey, interesting. The open talent economy has landed. And it's happening. Parts of South Africa, parts of Kenya. The developed world, this is already happening in terms of the talent open, the open talent economy. Now, what is now happening is that access to talent is more important than owning that talent. And don't be surprised if today you have an employee who is going to work with 2-3 organizations. Access to talent, not ownership of that talent. So, if this is going to happen, I just want you guys very quickly, and I want to focus on the fourth platform for talent. The fourth platform for talent, you know, you have the normal things, which is the internal side, the partnerships that you can create. But I want to talk about freelance, crowdsourcing, swaps also you can swap. Now, on your phones, just quickly check what is freelance. If you just go to freelance, you'll find guys are starting to organize themselves. They're available, whether you are talking nurses, whether you are talking accountants, whether you're talking engineers, and they can come into your organization, work, you pay them, they work from home, they work from anywhere else. Access to talent, not ownership of talent. And some of you guys out here, when it comes to some of your strategies and so forth, you're building big offices right now. You're telling your accountants, I want a good budget. But talent is moving on. Crowdsourcing, you can also Google. There are also, you can have problems around you. You want to sort out a particular brand issue. You don't bring in an individual. There's a group organized where you take your problem to, with the confidentiality is required and so forth. They sort out the problem for you. I was recently working there was a serious project on a media company. You know, media industry is really suffering today. But some of the things we did, we didn't need to bring people, employ people, sit there. No, we went into freelance. We got people who came and sorted out certain things. We went into crowdsourcing, took some problems there. They worked, you know, and it's interesting how they form focus groups, they discussed your issue, they research for you, they come back and give you a solution. So, the open talent economy is seriously hitting the marketplace. And that is why, with what Rachel said, I just want to add on a few things as leaders that we must really, really make sure that we are driving. Authenticity, you saw it. In the middle is what? Purpose. Authenticity, Rachel talked about it. Resilience. How hard are we at it? Because we have this purpose to achieve. How are we making sure we marshal everybody around us? We are aligning everybody around us. How are we making sure? And in my organization, sometimes I ask guys to come for a meeting at 6 o'clock in the morning because of resilience. We want to sort out a matter. Anybody telling me I'm used to coming at 8 o'clock, then too bad for me. Or too bad for that person. Adaptability, it is the order of the day. The world is moving. Systems thinking, connecting the dots. We must know what are the insights and what more must we be doing. And of course, results, which is all about performance. Now, so when I'm attracting my talent, and eventually I want to keep it, a lot of you guys are wasting your time with a talent that is down there. Low performer, inconsistent performer, you know, the 1, 2, 3. And some of you guys, I come to your organizations and I wonder. The talent you must focus on is the talent that is achieving for you. The number 5, the reliable guys, and then you go all the way, you know, to the 7, 8, 9. These are the guys in the 4 and the 6. Yes, you can work on them to see how they can improve on the scale that is weak. So, talent, when it comes to the people you see in your organization, you must differentiate them. And that means performance. The area I emphasize, performance management, performance enhancement, all the time. And then there's a system of making sure that this is done. And in your organization, for heaven's sake, don't come and tell me that everybody is performing. Even when people are performing, you can rank them if you have a robust performance management system. So only 5% in the very top, 5 to 10% in the 7, 5% in the 8. These other group, the number 1, 2, 3, the faster they move out of your organization, they give you oxygen. The more they're staying in your organization, they're blocking oxygen for the organization. I'm telling you for a fact. And these organizations we are in, they're not marketplaces. There's a purpose for these organizations. But when we delay in making decisions through the right process, through the whatever, then it is us who are destroying value. Now, so some of the things when it comes to retaining talent is concerned is that we must have meaningful work. That nature of work is very, very key. Career development, continuous learning that we talked about yesterday. Positive work culture that we talked about yesterday. I've worked with Unilever. I've had my experiences in AMREF, in Aga Khan, Evercare now, BPC. I will not forget great people I had relationships with. And I will not forget the results we created. But hey, if you ask me how much I was being paid, I will not remember. I was happy because of relationships I had and the positive results we were creating. So this business of, again, wasting your time that you want to create everything and everything around so that people are happy. Sometimes, the HR people come to me and they are creating a whole list of things they want to do. I tell them, go back. These are the only 2 things I want to see. Invest in relationships that are positive and the results for your organization. You will be happy. The minute you are creating positive results, the so-called salaries and benefits and so forth, hey, if an organization is performing, then you will naturally get the benefits of that. Now, leadership, we talked about it in terms of the leadership culture. Let me not go again too much into that. You have the charts. Yeah? Building the pipeline for leadership, very, very key. And that is why the chart I showed you there in terms of talent pooling, especially identifying high potential employees, succession planning, very, very key. So, if I go to the do's, if you are retaining talent in your organization, the world has moved on. We're talking digitalization, we're talking everything else. Provide technology. Everybody, even the baby boomers, they are all work is around technology. So provide that technology. Exposure and secondments are important. Flexi time has come. It's important. Virtual working is important. Work-life integration has come. Now, very key. The same organization that I was telling you about, I went in and we wanted to do a strategy. The board, the CEO, they were talking about strategy. And when you talk about strategy, naturally you look at 2 years minimum going into 5 years or whatever. At the end of that conversation, we came up with a strategy for 1 year. 1 year. It ended up being what you normally call just a budget for 1 year. So that means that even the work we're having, we must end up making sure that we turn the so-called targets, annual targets, into tasks. Make sure there's involvement. Make sure there's feedback. Now, the minute you are creating that kind of performance management and a culture, then people are performing every day. And you must have a dashboard that is showing you that. The millennial who walks in and it's only for a week or for 2 weeks, the Gen Z, go back and look at it and say, what has this Gen Z added in my organization? Don't start saying he came in and wasted time. For those 2 weeks, what did the Gen Z do? For those 2 years. 2 years is a long time. And you HR people are saying, oh, now they come only for 2 years. Show me what they have done in 2 years. Coaching and mentorship, we've talked about. Reward, excellence. Reward and experience is very important. Continuous learning, we have talked about it. Now, we must move into making sure that we treat individuals, not a group of people, if you want to really engage and retain great talent that you have. Make sure that you are patting them on the back. Make sure bonus schemes are landing. Make sure variable pay is landing. Make sure ESOP is landing. Just giving them a good experience. Because they're the ones performing for you. They're the ones that are making a difference. So, just a few things that I put up, and you guys have even much more. You must have a dashboard that you're looking at. When it comes to your dashboard, the job skills and people match, how is it looking? The turnaround time when it comes to sourcing, how is it? Key jobs, key people. Engagement and experience scores. How are they yielding? Management yield, employee yield in terms of productivity. NPS score, very important. Can they recommend your organization to somebody else? Regretted lost turnover. People you wouldn't wish to go, they have gone. Why? That is the conversation you should be having. Not everybody else who has gone. Succession covers. How are you making sure, that for key jobs, you have a succession cover? Now, when it comes to key jobs, key people, create all the experience that is necessary to retain those individuals. And I just want, especially when you know your people, I just want to show you, even it's not far, key people who are holding key organizations in one of my organizations that I lead. We took as good as an Asia tour. And let me just please play the second clip so that we can see. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. And what's that?
That's just the cloth.
You should tell us. Is it coming from the Dead Sea? Okay, it's stopping there. But that's fine. Guys, you'll ask me, what happened? How did you take out all your key people on a trip? It's because these guys, the organization is in autopilot. Even for the moment they're enjoying themselves, the organization is doing what? Is working. And again, technology. We were still making decisions as much as we were flying all over and enjoying ourselves. We came back. And I can tell you, the productivity is even higher. Now, a lot of you guys, you don't want to invest behind key people. It's just a talk. Make it practical. Now, coming back to Africa as I finish, and I think it was said, we have a population that is actually growing rapidly. Fertility rates, 4.7%. So the ladies in the room and the men who have only one child, please be part of Africa. Okay? Now, with 1.5 B population, average median age, if you like, median age of 19 years. Unfortunately, a very huge percentage that is unemployed. You saw the figures yesterday. That is a sad part of it. But for me, this is a market, yes. But if we don't increase our GDPs so that we are in the top, whatever number, whether 10 or 20, we are in trouble. We will remain poor and will keep complaining. So, out of this population, and if you're looking at a 60% that is youthful, how are we sieving out the right talent? How are we making sure this is just the spread of the population around Africa? By the way, West Africa, I thought you guys were more than the East Africans. We beat you, eh? Now, so how are we making sure that we sieve out the right skills, competencies, knowledge that is going to turn around Africa? Huge conversation. Stakeholders are many. But I had really wished that we could do a plenary on this, but I know here the timings are timed. So some of the things in terms of Africa, for me, when I look at Africa, and you guys are HR professionals, most of you. Yes, we are talking about integration of the economic agenda into the AU Agenda 2063. But where are the leaders? Transformational and visionary. From up, and you know, guys, when you talk about change management, you can bring change from top down, but you can also create change from bottom up. Now, if you guys are going to be living here and you say, you know my president, you know the cabinet, you know, and some of you hold very, very, very big positions. Now, there was a minister here yesterday, the Rwandese. Have you guys even talked to this minister to say, please tell Kagame, you guys, we are going to come in, we want to give you an induction of people management, and we are going to make sure that, you know, you are part of us. You are very close to your minister. In Kenya, the bodyguards will be too many around the minister, you will not even talk to him. Now, some of the things we need to do is bring HR to these presidents, to their cabinets. We need out of that population that can change Africa, that can transform Africa. We need what I can call an Africa talent bank. Most of you guys here, you know, you are just talking money, money, money. Oh, you know, I'm Bank of Kigali. Oh, you know, I'm Bank of whatever. Money, money, money. Talent for Africa? What is talent for Africa? Now, and when it comes to Africa, what are the current and what are the future needs? In some of our countries, it's like, I'm sorry to use some language. It's like a blind man in a dark room looking for a black cat that is not there. We do not have statistics. How can we make sure we have the right statistics so that we know the kind of skill we have today and the future? What jobs are existing today? What jobs will be existing in future? Then Africa, if we go to this level. Now, I know that if I went around here and I talked about every country that is represented here, you guys are very proud of the so-called, what do you call the people in abroad? Diaspora. You know, Kenyans in the diaspora. You know, Rwandese in diaspora. Oh, you know, Nigerians in diaspora. Cote d'Ivoire, people in diaspora. Guys, stop using that language. Countries that have planned their human capital properly, they have created a scheme and they have accepted it. And they know whom they're channeling out there and they know whom they're using. If you go to India today, there's a scheme called NRI,